What if I told you that major medical journals have published studies proving that MedBed technology already exists, with results so shocking that scientists can barely believe their own data? Well, Jonathan Otto returns with blockbuster clinical evidence that will forever change how you view healing technology. We're not talking about speculation or secret programs. We're talking about studies from major medical journals, peer reviewed and published, proving what sounds impossible. Now, check this out, a European study with 308 patients, 91% healing of fractures that wouldn't mend for years. Spanish researchers, patients healing 76 days faster. Brazilian thyroid study, autoimmune disease reversing. Cancer treatment guidelines officially recommending this technology for all patients. Now, the FDA has already cleared it. Major hospitals are using it, and the results are so dramatic that 30 minutes of treatment can eliminate chronic pain that's lasted decades. Brain diseases thought irreversible are healing. Bones that wouldn't mend for years are regenerating. Jonathan Otto is here to show you the studies that they don't want you to see. Jonathan, welcome back with this explosive evidence.
Thank you, Gary, for having me. I appreciate it. It's exciting.
It's amazing. Yeah, no, I always enjoy talking with you about this stuff because it's so revolutionary and more people need to know. Let's talk about the first point here, the cellular repair and regeneration, PEMF. All right. First of all, break it down for our viewers, but it can speed up bone healing and tissue repair. How does this compare to like cellular regeneration MedBeds are said to provide?
Yeah, absolutely. Gary, look, I think we'll talk at some point about your wife's experience, but it's one of the amazing examples that exists out there. So once she got introduced to this and started using it, you saw what happened to her, and the frequent visits to the hospital and the low quality of life just gets transformed, and so you see it real time. And so which is true, right? Now you could validate what I just said, correct?
Oh, without question, no. When you sent us the device, my wife started using it immediately. We had just come back from Europe, and she was having some issues. She was going to the doctor, and it was, my wife was out of commission, and my wife, she runs the show, she keeps the house in order, and when she's out of commission, everything falls apart. But when she started using it, and even when she went back to the hospital for checkups, the medications they were giving her just were doing more damage than good. And she literally started using your device, and like it was like night and day. I mean, it probably wasn't more than a week after she started using it, and dramatic changes to her health and well-being were remarkable. And I will stand as a testimony to this. And of course, I actually use the device 30 minutes. I try to sit under it 30 minutes a day if I can, and I personally love it. But talk to me more about this regeneration. Yeah,
absolutely. And sorry to his tangent, but it just really touched me because yesterday I was at an event here. That's where I'm at, and I held this man in my arms as he wept. He was crying because he said, like, my wife, I couldn't solve the issues with my wife, and our situation became so bad that we got a divorce. And he's like, if only I could have got this to her. And he's like, I still want to get this to her, but I think she's blocked me. I can't get in touch with her. And so these are the things that really matter, man. So let me answer that question. So this is an example. So cellular regeneration using, like, for example, pulse electromagnetic field therapy, and in combination with red light. I'll show you an example here, and you can see what I'm presenting there. This is an example where I just pushed in the data here. Like, this is in OpenAI, and show me how PEMF and red light therapy resemble the concept of a medbed with fast healing in important areas of health, and proof and studies that reference this. And then it goes into detail of showing how fast regeneration can take place. I pushed it further and then said, okay, well then, show me the rapid time in which red light and PEMF can regenerate in a table for various conditions. And so, cellular healing, cellular inflammation, regeneration of the cells, which, whether it's a thyroid issue, whether it's an issue in the kidneys or the liver or another organ in the body, they're reliant on, it's all to do with the cells, how healthy are the cells, and what do they have, what they need. So then you push this further, and then you'll find, okay, what does it say? Well, it says specifically that wound healing, this is taking hours to days instead of like what you kind of reporting there, within a week, you're seeing a change. Both therapies can accelerate the healing process, muscle recovery and pain, minutes to hours. Reduced inflammation and pain relief, often seen quickly. So somebody could be in pain, and in minutes they could be out of pain. So that the reason why people talk and think about MedBed is because they've suffered often their whole lives, and they've tried a lot of things. They've tried supplements, they've tried drugs, and they don't work in most cases. And supplements, it's a natural therapy, but often the cells still lack what they need. And so look at this: skin rejuvenation and acne, days to weeks, and improved skin tone, elasticity, and reduced acne can appear within weeks. Bone healing, weeks. Initial effects 1 to 2 weeks. Accelerates bone repair. And one of these columns here is red light. The other one is PEMF, which is pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. So one is using the electrons of the earth, the other is using the light of the sun, which is what you see in nature. So you see that if you're outside and you don't have shoes on, you're grounded. So you're getting the pulse of the earth through you, and you're getting the rays of the sun. And if you're fully clothed, then you're not going to get much of that. But if you're naked out in the sun, which most people can't do, you're getting the sun's rays. And so that's one of the simple, quick takeaways for everyone, regardless of whatever you're doing. You can get out into the sun and get onto the ground and basically create what is essentially a med bed. And then the reason why we can enhance this with the technology is we, as much as 10, 50, or even 100xing the amount of intensity, both from the light and the electrons of the earth. So really cool. So you can see the rest there, inflammation immediately to days for both of these. It's reducing inflammation rapidly. Chronic autoimmune conditions like arthritis, weeks. In both cases, improvements take place quite immediately there as well. Nerve regeneration, weeks to months. And yeah, so there's some examples there, Gary.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I mean, I'm a living testimony to this, and let's talk about the PEMF that can reduce the pain and inflammation within hours, as you said.
Yeah.
Now, is this a real world version of the instant recovery people imagine with MedBeds?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll keep showing those examples. Absolutely. That's what we're seeing. And again, like, to like make sure that people understand that, you know, we're not even necessarily saying, okay, within a couple of minutes, you're good. We're talking about people implementing these tools to continue these types of regenerative effects. And this is an example here for thyroid disease. So this was over the course of 5 weeks, and these are chronic autoimmune thyroiditis patients. And so a lot of people have subclinical Hashimoto's or subclinical hypo or hyperthyroid disease because their thyroid is so sensitive. And women are getting affected by this the most, about 10 women for every 1 man, because their thyroid is more sensitive. And in this case, after 5 weeks, so it was only 20 minutes 5 times, a total of 10 sessions, only 20 minutes twice a week. So it's not even that much time commitment for people that, thinking that maybe they don't have time for it. But 47% of them didn't need LT4 at all at a 9-month follow-up, which means that they were actually even off it for almost 8 months. So it was lasting change. Sometimes people think that something like this could be a Band-Aid. You just feel good for a little bit and then it would reset. But in this case, even 9 months later, they hadn't been on red light for the entirety of 8 months. And yet half of them didn't need the thyroid hormone drug anymore, Synthroid or levothyroxine.
Oh, okay.
Everyone had a reduced intake of it.
Okay. So my father, he's in town, and we've been noticing, he's getting older, and it's pretty traumatic. Just watching someone you love, someone who cared for you, start to experience health issues. And sorry, it makes me choked up, but we're trying to figure out like what is going on, right? He's got he takes a thyroid medication. He also will he just started developing like a little shake in his right hand. He got brain scans, they can't figure it out. You know, I'm wondering, because he's only in town for a little while, but I wonder how this could help him, you know, that he's in town now. Like, you know, hey, Dad, just go and lay under this thing for 15 minutes a day while you're here.
I see it happen all the time, and it's yeah, like there's no question in my mind that it will help him tremendously and that he will have significant improvements. No question in my mind. And then in terms of a complete reversal, yes, and then that would be him continuing and then resetting that issue. Light therapy and frequency therapy, his health is determined upon the health of his cells, and it's so simple when you think of it, Gary. It comes down to cellular voltage. So his cells are lacking the voltage, the energy that they need to perform their functions. So they can't go and do all the things they need, and so everything is performing poorly, and so then you see all the symptoms, and then you get diagnosed with you could get diagnosed with any one of 75,000 different types of conditions, which are just names assigned to them that arguably don't even exist because there's no genes for them. They're just symptoms that get given titles, often after the names of individuals, like Hashimoto's, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. These are all the names of like the researchers and the doctors, and what you then do is step out of that program and say, well, I'm just going to, not buy into the program. I'm not going to consign. I'm not going to, believe in this fate that I've been given. What I am going to do is give my cells what they need. And then when cells have energy, so like in this case, the organ cells, about 25% of them is the mitochondria that surround the nucleus of the cells. And they need light more than they need anything else, and frequency, like pulse electromagnetic field frequencies, the frequencies of the earth. And then when they have this, they produce something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is how cells generate energy. When they have that, then they store the energy as well, like a battery. Now they use it for, guess what? Every single cellular function you can imagine, which is stem cell regeneration, detoxification. They'll actually self-detoxify. So they'll go and pull heavy metals. In the thyroid case, they're actually pulling heavy metals out of the thyroid, and halogens, bromine, fluoride is getting pulled out of the thyroid, and then now they're going to go do the other things that they couldn't do before, which is to produce the thyroid hormone, or the heart cells go to produce whatever they need to perform properly. The liver cells, the kidney cells. That's the wonder and the mystery of God's beautiful innate creation that we see unfold. And then all of a sudden, your dad ends up having normal function, which he's supposed to have, and it shouldn't be a mystery. We're not even making claims. His body's just functioning the way it's supposed to, and I'm not even let's not even talk about the disease and the reversal of it. I don't even believe all of those things that I'm being told. They just give the body what it needs. Watch what happens.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to introduce my father to this. When he was here, he's here now, but in the back of my mind, I'm going, man, I need to get him underneath red light. I need to get him on the PEMF mat because I don't want to see him in the condition I'm watching. It's just like deterioration, and it's sad. But after what happened with my wife, and then seeing that slide you just put up, it just clicked. Yeah. I'm like, I need to get my dad underneath this thing immediately. So goodness gracious, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for sharing that just with me. I don't know how many people are watching this right now and are going, maybe that just clicked for them or a loved one. I'm getting so choked up here. I really. I'm gonna try to.
You love your dad, and so you should, and it's beautiful. And this is the time when anyone that's watching this, you guys are the guys that need to think about everyone you care about, because they don't know this information and they're just in a program that doesn't teach them it. And
let's keep going, because I know you have a lot more information to share. And this isn't about me. This is about trying to get this information to people. Man. Okay, so let's talk about cancer support. PEMF has been shown to improve circulation, oxygen delivery, immune response. Early studies suggest it can slow tumor growth and reduce treatment side effects. Does this parallel the MedBed claim of helping the body fight cancer?
Absolutely. Yeah, look at this. So you see here pain relief, reduced inflammation. So if people are doing conventional treatments, if they either have, they've got diagnosed with that condition, maybe they're concerned about it, so they're doing something to be preventative, which is obviously one of the wisest and most amazing things you can do. The processes that are shown here to help remediate these issues are the same processes that help stop them from happening in the first place. And so you'll see this with pain relief, reduced inflammation, improved circulation, oxygenation. Remember, it all comes down to oxygen. Light therapy, pulse electromagnetic field therapy, they're all oxygen therapies. They support how the cells use and oxygen and undergo the critical processes in respiration, which is the breathing of cells. So it's revitalizing the mitochondrial function. So here's an example where in this study, and this was for breast cancer cells, they're exposed to low frequency pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, and what the PEMF did is that it slowed their growth, triggered cell death, and pushed them into a state called senescence. So you don't want healthy cells in senescence, you want cancer cells in senescence, which is where cells stop multiplying but don't die right away, and they eventually die, which is important. And you don't want the healthy cells affected. So remarkably, normal healthy cells weren't just unaffected, they actually showed signs of improved health and increased growth. And so it's weakening the cancer cells without harming surrounding tissue, which is not common. We're always talking about therapies that are harmful to healthy cells. So PEMF treated cancer cells not only displayed cell death but also senescence. In contrast, normal fibroblasts were not affected by the possible harmful effects of PEMF, but increased their cellular viability. So they became more active, more effective. So that's a key example. So we're seeing that with cancer, and we see the same thing with light therapy with cancer. And I'll show you that real time. And by the way, so these are examples here of the wavelengths that are critical in cancer. So in this case, you've got red and near infrared, and notice how they interface with different parts of the body. So you've got epidermis, dermis, subcutaneous tissue, muscle, bone, interior tissue. So the lower the number, the shallower the penetration, but it's as important because your issue might be there, your issue might be deeper, but you want to be covering all of these key areas. And that's something that we did uniquely in our devices, where we covered all of the 9 critical wavelengths in the device, which is just almost unheard of with a dual delivery. So both light,
right, and
every light.
And I want to point out that right behind your shoulder, that's the device that you sent us. I'm going to bring up your shot so you can kind of point out what people are looking at behind you. That's the device that you sent us.
Yeah, right here.
And it's like a full body device, and it's remarkable. And you can see all the different wavelengths of light. And it's actually quite comfortable. I found it to be very comfortable to lay underneath it. It has a very nice warm feeling. I mean, I could sit there for an hour and just sit on my phone and work while this thing is on. So it's really passive. It's comfortable. I don't think people should have any concern about what it feels like, because for me, it's kind of like a warm blanket.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. It's a very gentle approach and yet so effective. And that's what we see in some of these studies. And because you asked about cancer, this was an example. So this is PubMed. And this is photodynamic therapy for cutaneous lymphomas. Down the bottom there, you'll see that it says specifically that this was a complete response after 2 sessions. And this is, look, I'm not making claims, and I'm not saying that people should even expect this, but I can tell you that you can visibly see this, and this is documented in a peer-reviewed study, that this person went into remission, and so did the rest of the people in this group. And in this case, this was a pilot study from 2006. So you see that. It was 3 patients, so pilot study, so small group, but the 630 nanometer light, again, a very heavily proven wavelength, is used, and then all treated patients had complete remission, defined as a clinical and histologic complete absence of cutaneous B-cell lymphoma after a maximum of 2 photodynamic therapy sessions at a 1-week interval. Is anyone wanting something faster than that? No patient experienced particular side effects, and the pain was easily managed. These are blockbusters, man.
I'm thinking about so many people that could benefit from this, loved ones that I know, and I'm just so blessed to have you on this program to share this with me and our viewers, because I know there are a lot of people out there battling these things, and having something like this in their home could be just absolutely life changing for their family. And I'm sorry, I'm just getting so emotional thinking about how revolutionary this is and how accessible it is. And I just want to point out that if anyone wants to take action right now, just hit the links down in the description. There's a special just for Next News viewers. It's all described below.
Yeah.
If you want to just jump ahead and you want to just take action. I'm sorry, I'm getting so, Jonathan, you got me so worked up because I'm recognizing I lost my mother to cancer, and
Wow.
she was trying everything, and we just want to see our loved ones just live forever with us, and
Wow.
okay, sorry, I'm getting
Yeah.
so worked up today. I'm gonna let you're
Yeah.
here. I'm gonna give you you have the floor, sir. You can
Yeah.
continue.
Oh,
Let me
it's
get
beautiful.
myself together.
It's beautiful. Oh, man, that's beautiful. And like, who is my neighbor? Is one of the questions got asked in the Bible. Who is my neighbor? And the answer was everyone. And who is my mother, my sister, my brother? And I think that's what's so beautiful about you, Gary, is that your heart then goes into, I don't want others to go through this. And when another mother, beats that diagnosis or doesn't get that diagnosis because they did something that helped them, then your mother got saved. Your mother got the help and the healing that she needed because she got it in somebody else. Like that is we're all connected. You're a part of me. I'm a part of you. Like our families are all connected. My children, anything you do for my children is something you do for your children. It's just, that's how the world works. So this study was another blockbuster. This was a 40% reduction in the showing the anti-proliferative effects against triple negative and non-triple negative breast cancer origin cell lines. There's a 40% reduction in, guess what, drum roll, 24 hours. See that? 24 hours post-exposure time point.
Wow.
And that was specifically with the nanometer of 660 nanometers. So that one was the only one out of the 4 that were tested, 615, 630, 660, 730. So then people know about light, but then they don't know which wavelength for which condition. And then it gets kind of complicated, then they don't make a decision. Well, the key is then have a device that hits all the key wavelengths and then have them all on by just turning the device on and standing in front of it about 3 inches away, roughly. You can experiment and about 20-30 minutes a day if you can, 20 minutes twice a week, 5 minutes every day. Like you can experiment, because there were studies that came out of universities like the Birmingham University where they tested a single 1 minute of exposure, and in this case 45% increase in cell viability was achieved by a single 1 minute of exposure. And
So it needs to be like about 3 inches away.
Yeah.
That device.
It's ideal. You could be a foot away and it's still going to be super effective, but you're going to get a
Okay.
high delivery of power. You could actually be almost touching it, or even touching it if you want to, because the device has 0 EMFs, and I prove that with meters. It's so easy. You just get a meter, put it on it. There's a 0 reading, so there's no harm. It's just delivering it straight and into the cells.
Amazing.
It was an 87% overall response rate for lung cancer, and this was unresectable, meaning that you couldn't perform a surgery on it. It says you can see it's a new and promising anti-tumor strategy. These are things that, again, are unheard of. Bone cancer, you'd think that there's no way to deal with that issue, and then here you've got it directly going into the bones. It's generating something called reactive oxygen species, which then causes it's going after any disease cells and causing apoptosis. And you'll see that in these studies. You'll see the same thing here with this prostate cancer study. Again, photodynamic therapy. Photodynamic therapy is when you're adding in a photosensitive agent like methylene blue, and it's hypersensitizing the cells, including the tumor cells or any disease cells, to light and causing apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. In this case, it was a 49% of the group go into remission. And this is a big study, 413 participants. And then the group that don't take the red light, 13.5%. So close to a 400% increase. Like, that's not a small number.
So if I combine this with methylene blue, I'll have better results?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you will.
Wow.
Yeah, and yes, but it's not essential in the sense that a lot of the studies that I'm reading out don't have that. They're just the light itself. But if you're going after specific issues, then yeah, great, it works. It's so effective. And here's one on PEMF for fibromyalgia. This was widespread pain, fatigue, poor quality of life. 21 women were surveyed in this group. And then there's a group that have a fake PEMF. And then you'll see the same thing with a fake red light. Nobody gets better in those. It's not a placebo. And this was over 8 weeks. Those who had PEMF reported much bigger improvements in pain and symptoms compared to the placebo group. They had less pain overall, fewer severe symptoms, better daily functioning, quality of life improved as well. And so you see these are the studies. They're real.
And to be clear, we're talking about the PEMF, which is the mat itself, in combination with the red light.
Exactly. And in this case, that was purely PEMF on its own.
Oh my goodness.
I shared in the other cases, red light on its own. They were just red light on its own. And now I just shared, and the previous studies were just PEMF on its own. So stack them. Because you remember, if 80% of people get better, it's a failure. Because why? Because 20% of people didn't. So therefore, what? Make it better. How do you make it better? Stack the therapies.
Wow.
Yeah. And that would include diet and hydration and things like that. So, everyone should be pushing the limits and doing everything they can. We should never ask ourselves, what's the least I could do? But that's how we start. Get started with doing the least you can. But yeah, these are bones. Like if you can increase the health of your bones, you're increasing the health of your whole body, because that's where you're generating your stem cells from. So this is for bone healing and bone density. Stronger bones mean better health all over, and it protects our parents. For example, depending on what age you are, the elderly will be protected from the breaks and all these things that then end up like becoming fatal.
Well, that's what's so scary is my father's. He fell in the shower, and like we got to get him back, like my father was a landscaper. He was, in the field working with his guys, and to see him in the condition he is now, he's not bad. He walks around, he's still there. But what I'm saying, like, it's like these little things we're starting to see, and to be able to kind of get ahead of it now. Knowing what I know here, man, if I'd known this freaking 10 years ago, I don't want to think about it. But I'm sorry. Continue, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, like, if our minds continue to go in the direction of, now that I know, here's the things I can do, because believe me.
Yeah.
Believe me, like, I mean, these are the things that could plague my soul. And then I always lean into, okay, and it is what you're doing. Like, think about what you do, Gary. You touch people's lives with shows like this, and you change the lives of millions of people, just like you did during the big events that happened over the last few years. You made a difference in the world because of the message that you shared, and with the people that you chose to get that out there with, right? And people know what I'm talking about. I'm going to make a reference, some vague references, but and so. Yeah. And neutralizing EMFs, like, this is something that people need to know about, because EMFs are harming health dramatically. And then if we're struggling because our bodies are overwhelmed by the wrong frequencies, then we're going to suffer. Everything suffers. And so what you're doing is you're overwhelming the wrong program, all the wrong electromagnetic frequencies with pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. Those interesting EMFs and PMFs, right? So these words are so similar, because you're getting the right program. In this case, you're getting like the earth frequency, which is the Schumann resonance, the 1 to 30 hertz. You're getting that pulsated through your body. It's recalibrating the whole program in the body. So now you've got the right frequencies, and they're healing frequencies. Your body then is going into healing. Instead of into degradation, which is what's happening. And so you see this, it's restoring cellular electrical balance, reducing oxidative stress, supporting nervous system resilience. And then it's supporting the neurological effects caused by EMFs. It's overwhelming that with the right program. And you see that here again in these clinical studies showing, and this is specifically in depression, glioblastomas, which are brain tumors, knee osteoarthritis, pain, post-operative. People are needing healing. Many people are going through surgeries. They need these types of treatments. And then Yeah, so you see here for the immune system, it's supporting the body to naturally regulate its immune response, reducing excess inflammation and supporting overall immune balance without the need for drugs and suppressive treatments. And that's their
So can
clearly
this help like
proven.
rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, like a total immune system reboot?
Yes, it heavily proven in those specific areas for all types of autoimmune disease, including rheumatoid arthritis, both with PEMF and red and near infrared light and far infrared light, all for every type of autoimmune disease, and yes, and then reducing the inflammation, but the inflammation isn't the cause; it's just the way the body's healing. The body is not getting what it needs to complete the healing, so then the inflammation then becomes problematic, as well as the thing that's driving it, which is it's always toxins, which whether it's electromagnetic or whether it's an actual poison like something that's being put into people's bodies, which would battling with, and or whether it's heavy metals or pesticides, which are made from all types of poisons intentionally, and yes, so then you're detoxifying the body of these through the light therapies, through the mitochondria, and then you're able to then regenerate in that way, and then your cells are just able to get past all the issues. You just think about if you had an infected area of your body, an infected wound can't heal. So if if you've ever had a wound, you're like, why is this thing not healing? And it's because it's infected that it can't heal. And so then once you resolve the infection, then it just heals. So that's what you're dealing with, resolving infections all through the body, and all diseases is a form of infection.
Wow. I want to go back to the thyroid health thing for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if PEMF and light therapies can improve thyroid hormone balance and reduce autoimmunity in Hashimoto's, isn't that a form of the hormonal reset that medbeds are supposed to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's causing the body then to go into, like, for example, the thyroid cells, thyroid. Okay. So thyroid is an organ, obviously, and it's filled with mitochondria, and the mitochondria are responsible for cellular repair and detoxification and all of these critical processes. So once we can get after this type of issue by simply solving the way our bodies are able to combat toxicity, as well as then go into generating thyroid hormones in this case, then you'll see functions that improve. And here's a great example. This is Hashimoto's thyroiditis. This was a group of, let's see, was it 70 plus 74 women. It's two different groups. One get the photobiomodulation light therapy, and the other group just get regular treatment. And this is only twice a week for 3 weeks. That's it. Okay, now it's not long.
Twice a week for 3 weeks? That's it?
Yep. And now they do a follow-up at 3 and 6 months. So I was not the one that conducted the study. If I was, I would have kept them on it for the whole time. But even though they poorly, produced the study, the group that received PBM therapy showed better results. They had lower levels of thyroid stimulating hormone, thyroid antibodies, and needed less LT4, which is the synthroid or levothyroxine. They also saw improvements in body measurements like body mass index, hip to waist ratio, waist to hip circumference. So they lost a lot of weight in all the key areas. So people are beating themselves up and starving themselves, giving themselves nutrient deficiencies while they're dealing with a toxic issue that the mitochondria need to deal with through light therapy and pulse electromagnetic field therapy, so they can have a good balanced diet, not gain the weight, and lose the weight that they've been holding for so long, which is all inflammation, which is because of toxins and poisons.
Okay, so I need to ask you this question. Okay, so if they just did this, twice a week for so many weeks, if I have this device in my home, and I don't have this Hashimoto's syndrome,
Yep.
but if I'm in that device, if I'm using the PEMF and the red light, okay, and I'm doing this every day for 30 minutes, and I don't have any of these issues, okay, tell me what is going to happen to me, like almost as like a preventative measure against any of this stuff. Because if my body's working correctly, I don't have these. Like, Tell me, please. I want to
Yeah,
hear your
exactly,
answer.
exactly. Well, firstly, we're all sitting ducks right now, every one of us, because the 1 in 2 men are getting cancer in their life, 1 in 3 females are getting cancer in their life. You just think about that for a second. Projections are for those numbers to double within the next 5 years. So we're on a trajectory for 100% of people getting cancer in their lifetime, and the top cancer doctors are all talking about this. And so so what we're doing right now, here and now, if you have a diagnosed condition or if you don't, what you're doing is you're giving your cells what they need so that they can perform more cellular function. So you'll have more energy, more mental clarity. And there are things that you think are normal that are not normal, things that you think is just like, no, I'm fine, but you don't realize what fine really looks like, for starters. So you
Uh-huh.
everything from improved eyesight. So there's studies on light over the eyes, 3 minutes with the eyes open, equated to an improvement of 17% immediately. And so that's an example. So you can improve function, you can improve your depression scores. The depression scores were even 1 and 2 hours after therapy, both in light therapy and in pulse electromagnetic field therapy. And people were then getting back a lot of the happiness that they were looking for, like, because the neurotransmitters are modulated by they're affected by toxicity. You're dealing with that. You're giving the brain cells what they need. Hence why you can actually treat a lot through the eyes. So getting light into the eyes with the eyes open, and people don't talk about this, but you're shooting light straight into the brain. Brain have the highest concentration of mitochondria. Thousands, not thousands, hundreds of thousands of mitochondria in the brain cells. So you're feeding all of that. Then everything, like brain is modulating a lot of things, regulating a lot
That's
of things,
right. So, like with PEMF
improving everything.
improving mood and memory and brain function and depression and neurodegeneration, is this the closest thing that we have to like the brain rejuvenation medbed promise?
Correct. Correct. There's nothing that compares to it. I mean, you look at science, look at studies, look at what we have. This is, there's amazing examples. I'll give you one here. There's a girl here. She had a stroke when she was born. This was published in the British Medical Journal. This case here, she uh, yeah, yeah. Okay, so imagine having a stroke when you're born. So she, she's not able to socialize properly. There's a mother talking about her case. 9 years later, she's now treated, and she here explains what it's like to now be a normal child. And the physicians looking after her then are showing that she's reporting normal test scores for academic abilities and normal social abilities. And she explains what it's like to be loved for who she is. And it's a tearjerker. And she explains how she was bullied. And there you see the publication there in the British Medical Journal for post-stroke. And so these are examples. So if that child can have that effect in that time period for something where she's way behind the line, she had a stroke when she was born. Think about what you can have when you never had that happen, but you do have some depression, some anxiety. You do have some brain fog and memory challenges. These are systemic. Nobody scores perfect in these categories, but then you end up resetting all of this, as you can see in the clinical studies here with traumatic brain injury as
So,
an
can this
example.
help with people who are taking antidepressants?
Absolutely. PEMF and light therapy for depression is one of the most incredible things you could possibly do.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when you test somebody an hour after a therapy, like a light therapy or pulse electromagnetic field therapy, you see their scores improve, and then you track them the following hour. This is all done in clinical studies. And then the following hour, they have a greater improvement. Then you're seeing this. This is absolutely working in this realm. And so, mood disorder. This is very important that people understand this and get on top of this. And this is an example here as well. This one, I won't read the title of this, but people can see the title of this. And this is the European Society of Medicine. This was, this is whole organ photobiomodulation. It was 62 participants. All of them had a complete recovery. 60 out of 62 had a complete recovery within a single week. And so a lot of people that are feeling like, maybe I shouldn't have had XYZ put in my body, I wish I didn't. Well, these are the solutions that people are now getting to with photobiomodulation. And but these are all conditions that everyone struggles with. Look at this, dyspnea, which is shortness of breath, SpO2 above, so oxygen above 97% in the blood without supplementation, relief from digestive distress, elimination of brain fog. This was total resolution. Elimination of brain fog, improved memory recall. And you'll see this. This was within 3 days. They had all acute symptomatic recovery within 3 days, and then full recovery was within 4 sessions. These were longer sessions, by the way, 64 to 84-minute long sessions, and then but they couldn't resolve 0.25% of the cases, and one of them was a type of anxiety that is only caused by watching certain news shows, by the way, and then the other one was nosophobia, which is the fear of getting diseases, which means that they don't really count. So therefore, this was a slam dunk. And
that's what happens when you watch MSNBC and CNN.
exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't have that type of fear if you're watching a show like this, because what you do get is a lot of hope, and that's the game changer, man. So I absolutely love that.
Let's talk about the whole body healing and accessibility, because we're talking about this stuff, and I want people to know exactly how they can get these devices.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they're futuristic, MedBeds are futuristic, supposedly inaccessible. Doesn't PEMF already, it's an FDA-cleared, it's for certain uses, represent practical and science-backed stepping stones towards the whole body healing?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. And then, yes. And so to answer your question, this is a great example of that. One of the cool things about this, Gary, is that this is combining this particular mat combines both PEMF, far infrared heat, and red light therapy. And so I will show specifically like red light therapy devices that have a high concentration, like the one that you see behind me, like the one that you're putting over you, which again, we're talking about MedBed. You have the ability to put one over the top of you, one underneath you, and then maximize your treatment. And by the way, we've had, this is an example of a belt. Maybe you can make me full screen there. This is an example where I'm able to put this over my body. And I just saw a case. So I did a case study with this woman a couple of days ago. We had a couple hundred people on, just saying, what's your feedback? How'd you go with this? She had a 8 or 9 out of 10 pain. So she quit her job. She couldn't work. So for like less than $300, she then put something over her body, and she ended up going back to work. And I'm like, so where are you at now? Thinking that she's going to say 1, 2, 3, 0, complete 0. And then a bunch of other people said the exact same thing on the same call. So she's a complete 0. So I said, like, how much did this cost you? She's like, that much. And like, how much how much did you reclaim? And she's like, well, I make $4,000 a month part-time as a massage therapist. And so she, reclaimed a $48,000 a year salary, which over the course of 10 years, she did the math on it. She could do the math on the short one, but she did the math on the over 10 years, and $500,000 that she reclaimed, and more importantly, the quality of life. But here's an example with the PEMF mat. So you see, like here, you've got 13 different layers in it. So you got a photon light, fireproof layers there, your PEMF system layer, the photons, the EMF, far infrared, ray heating wire, and so you see the layers. And then importantly, it's using this 1 to 30 hertz range, which is mirroring the natural electromagnetic rhythm of the earth, which is like the Schumann resonance is one of the keys there. And so what we did is tap into that frequency range. That meant that you could then get that healing, versus a lot of things promise these things, but they don't use these actual proven mechanisms. And so here you see an example of a study that's showing that when it's using this range, they're getting dramatic improvement in this one particular case is on knee osteoarthritis, and this was an amazing benefit. Participants who received the PEMF treatment saw a significant drop in pain within 1 and 3 and 6 months, and the pain relief continued for up to 6 months without side effects, and the fake placebo group didn't get any benefits. So big change there. And then the magnetic field strength, which is really important. So that's 150 millitesla is what we're using in our devices with the 3-coil design. And this is what's able to help really get the intensity into the body that's necessary. And so this was a study showing with human stem cells against 150 millitesla, showing that it's completely safe, no signs of toxicity. And then, in fact, the cells treated with both 80 millitesla and 150 continue to grow and thrive over time. The 150 group showed a clear trend toward higher expression of key healing factors like collagen, VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor, and bone-building proteins, VEGF. In particular, helps create new blood vessels, essential for tissue repair and recovery.
Oh, wow.
So that's what we used, right? That's what we have in our devices. Yeah. And then the far infrared heat as well. So you got the parameters of the far infrared heat, the 86 to Fahrenheit to 158 Fahrenheit. So we're using that far infrared heat, which is rarely seen in consumer mats, and amazing studies on this. Quicker rehabilitation, better blood circulation, enhanced cellular or functional strength. And then the groups that use this particular parameter, pain relief, improve sleep, stress reduction. So if you're sleeping well, then you're getting better. And then there's the irradiance of 180 watts. That's what we're using. So it's clinical grade power. These are irradiance studies showing here that these are completely effective in these studies. You can read more about it. But the FDA certification always important. And so I'll show you then, here's where you can get it. Again, because we need to get these results. This is far infrared heat in the blanket, so you can push your body up. Remember, 1 degree in raising the body temperature means 30 to 40% increase in your immune system. And so you could do that 3 times a week or so. And then there's a great saving there. Instead of paying the regular price, you're getting a saving just for this limited window of time that we're just making this available for people using the code NNN25 with a 25% off discount, over $200 there. So you can see all the parameters, which is great. And then the PEMF mat, which is combining again the far infrared, the photon red light, as well as the PEMF, which is the major thrust of that. And again, you're getting a 25% off discount, over $400 saved there, around $1,200 there, which is a huge saving. And then you can get the combo by using, when you're at checkout, and again, this is mypmfmat.com. And when you're checking out at mypmfmat.com, you will put in the code NNN30, activate the 30% off discount if you're getting the bundle of both of them, which is, again, just a total game changer. And then, and you could break it up in payments as well. There's a payment plan system. And then if you do the math on what this works out, like you said, that could be over 6, 12, 24 months, works out just, $50 a month or whatever it is based on which package you choose. But you have the ability to access those. And if you're international, you can use Afterpay, or whether you're American, you can use Afterpay. These are great systems. But I did the math on what it costs for the PEMF treatments over the course of the next 10 years. And it works out at 20 cents, 30 cents a session, right? You'd be paying $50, $80, $100, $200 a session. You can look that up. And so you're getting that. And if you're a family, there's 4 in the family, like my family, then that means we're getting the treatment for less than 10 cents a treatment over the course of 10 years. So it's cheaper than anything else, and you end up getting back so many things that you weren't maybe able to do in the past. So yeah, total game changer there. And the one that, before we go as well, with the red light, all you got to do is just go to myredlight.com. And again, use the checkout NNN at checkout, and that will activate the discount there that you can see on the page. There's a lot of free gifts, and so that's heavily discounted there already on the page. And so you just enter that code, and then you're able to get those amazing offerings there. And I'll just quickly show that before we wrap that as well in a moment here. Let's see here. Just one second. So these are exciting breakthroughs that people can now access. So things that were typically out of reach have now become within reach for people that are seeking health and healing. So you could see that here with these devices, the smaller devices like the RO Pro 200. And remember, because they're dual LEDs, it means that you're getting double. So the 144 LEDs turns into 288 LEDs. So really cool. The 30-degree lens is deeper penetration. We have the highest tested irradiance, so you'll see that 192. You've got devices that are $150,000 in clinics that have around 50 milliwatts per centimeter squared in delivery. So how is it that we're getting a 4 times delivery? So the light's extremely powerful. I had to put that device on about 20% of the settings so it didn't blow out the image there. So again, you see the RL Pro 300 is another example. And you see the irradiance tested there. Here's one of the really popular devices here, the RO Pro 300 Max, 205 milliwatts per centimeter squared at 3 inches. It comes with a free stand. And then you can get the bundle at myredlight.com. You'll see as well, you can get the bundle that has the PEMF mat with it. It has the sauna blanket with it. So you've got a whole
That's what
array.
you need. That's what people need.
Yeah,
They need the bundle
to
get the full benefit of everything.
Exactly. So you can get all of that. And so we've got all that there, and you can see the belt. So yes, it's a game changer, and we're so excited to be able to offer that to folks here. And I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to share these incredible life changing tools.
Go to
And
that.
that,
What was the hat? Show me what's the hat
oh yeah,
about.
yeah, sure, yeah, that is there. So you're able to then get it's amazing for cognitive function, and also for hair regrowth. And what you're able to do then is, like, it's stimulating hair follicles. So people that are losing hair, it becomes the cheapest thing you can do and the most supportive thing. Because if you look at the studies on red light for brain health, you'll find that it's able to remove formaldehyde from the brain, and which is causing Alzheimer's, by the way. So you're really doubling things up there. You can put that on while you're sitting there watching next news network, or your favorite Netflix show or anything like that, to double up what you're doing. Like, you could be sitting there doing
Wow.
nothing, no healing, or you could get healing. You could actually sit the PMF mat, so you're sitting on a couch with it, so you don't have to lay flat. You could have red light while you're watching something, while you're working out. So just double up these things and watch what
Wow.
happens. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah. It's fantastic.
So, I mean, what makes it so effective, though? Like, why is it important that, it matches the exact parameters used in the studies for the frequency, the field strength to get these results?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Well, it's to do with what I'll show you here is it's to do with the ability for you to be able to get the right wavelengths and the right intensity. They're the two keys, because, like, you'll get a lot of benefit from the sun, but what you're getting from a device that has a high amount of light going through it is you're able to, and I'll show you this. You'll love this. Um, so if you look at this, you'll see, if you get the right wavelengths, you're penetrating that right area of the body, you have the highest delivery of power into those areas, then you're able to regenerate the areas that lie within those realms, like whether it's the skin, hyperpigmentation, wrinkles, fine lines, and hence why you'll see that. So you see all the different parameters which we shared, but look at how they score for weight loss, fat burning, cellulite reduction, metabolism, and then you'll see how they score here, which wavelengths are proven for which conditions: anti-aging, acne, scars, rosacea, hair growth, sun damage, fine line, wrinkles, droopy eyelids, under eye circles, broken capillaries, pain relief, wound healing, injury healing, oral health. Because, by the way, people are spending a lot of money in each of these categories, and what you're doing is shooting past all that, getting, Lord of the Rings, one ring to rule them all. You're using one single device for your whole family, which has a lifetime usage. By the way, 50,000 hours on the red light device equates to about 200 plus years. But that sounds unrealistic. But with the whole family using it, you can expect it to last an entire lifetime, because it's so hardcore. You know that, right? It's cast iron. The thing is
Yeah. Oh
heavy.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's legit, man.
Yes,
It
it
is a
doesn't
real
fail.
device.
We don't have
It is.
failures with them at all. Like, they are so effective and so robust, and so you keep using them, and then people are spending money in each of these areas. Like, if you're getting pain medication, you're reordering that every month. If you're getting a supplement, you're reordering that every month. $50 supplement every month is $600, but that's for the whole family. You're 2,400 bucks, and now you're at and then over the next 10 years, you're at $24,000. That's for a single supplement. And everybody here knows that they really have never got any benefit from a single supplement to actually do the things that we're talking about here. So this then becomes the best and the cheapest thing that you can do. And so, again, that's
Okay.
what's
So
making it effective.
break down before we go. I want people to know exactly what the special offer is for our viewers. And I think you should focus on the bundle itself,
Yeah.
because that's going to give you the full spectrum results that people are going to get are looking for, and then run through the websites, the codes, everything.
Amazing. Yep. So, like, here you'll see, this is, going to myredlight.com, and then you'll see it redirect there, and that's the site. And you'll see also, if you want to see more of the, like, training there, I go through more there on that webinar. But then you can go and select the offer that you think is best for you. Choose the bundle that works best for you, or the singular devices that work best for you. We did provide, and so then at checkout, you again choose the bundle that you like, that makes sense to you, and then go and check out with the code NNN. It's going to activate all the savings that you see on the page. You get all these free gifts added in, which is a game changer. You go to and so again, it's that simple. So just simply using the code at checkout, NNN. So if you're at myredlight.com, it's just the code NNN, and that'll activate the savings you see on the page. And now when you go to mypmfmat.com, which you see here, and then you go to checkout, that's where you hit add to cart, and then you'll use the code NNN25 for the singular items like the blanket or the PMF mat, or NNN30 for the double up of the sauna blanket and the PMF. So really simple and really easy to do, and you just make your choice,
and
your
then
selection,
for people that want to do the payment option again, because if they can't afford something like this but they really want it, break that down real quick so people understand.
Absolutely. So all you got to do there is just at checkout, like when you're going through the process, you just simply select the Afterpay option or the PayPal buy now, pay later. And so that'll just be an option there. And for people that are buying it outright, then you just remember what this is going to cost you over time. And then you go, okay, cool. I'm making an investment right now that will save me lots of money. And I end up spending so much money on different things, like whether it's the chiropractic visits or that type of thing, or and then when you're slower and you're kind of, you can't do as much, then you end up in situations where you're missing out on things. So a lot of people, you just check out and just pay by credit card or do whatever you need to do there, and you could buy it outright, or you could do the buy now pay later, but you get it right away. You get it when it ships. You don't wait for it, but you just pay for it over that course of time.
Well, Jonathan, thank you for sharing this. You really touched me today with some of those slides, because I know that there are people in my life that can benefit from this. I know people watching this right now are feeling the same thing I'm feeling, and maybe it's for a loved one, maybe it's for themselves, maybe they've been struggling to find a solution to something that's been ailing them, and just through like all those slides you presented, I know that someone out there is watching this and they're going to take action. And I'm asking whoever that person is right now, do it. Do not delay. All right. In my own life, my own family's life, I've already seen the results. So, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us and sharing.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate you.
All right. Jonathan Otto hasn't just revealed that MedBed technology exists. He's proven it with peer-reviewed studies from the world's most respected medical journals. While people wait for mythical secret technology, the FDA has already cleared PEMF devices delivering 91% healing rates. This is not speculation, okay? European multi-center trials, Brazilian autoimmune studies, cancer treatment guidelines, the evidence is overwhelming. Fractures healing 300% faster. Autoimmune diseases reversing. Brain disorders regenerating. Pain vanishing in 30 minutes. The real conspiracy isn't hiding medbeds. It's hiding that they already exist as PEMF and red light therapy. Every study that Jonathan cited is public. Every result is documented. The technology is now available for you. You'll find the links in the description. All right. Visit mypemfmat.com and myredlight.com. Use the codes. You'll find them in the description. When major medical journals prove something works this dramatically, you do not wait for permission. You act. The future of healing isn't coming. It's here.